Hi, this is Mary Redmond, the Fearless Negotiator. We're talking about the heard process of negotiation. That's my process that I developed, HEARD, and we're in the engage phase of that process right now. The first tip in the engage process: what kind of communication are you going to have for this negotiation? You've got so many choices today. You have telephone, you have face-to-face, you have text, you have emails, and the written word. Remember that? The written word. All those modes of communication are available to you. Each of them come with pluses and minuses. Let's talk about number one, which is telephone, the voice. All you have is what you hear. I one time had a colleague, and he was very good at reading over the phone my body language. I wasn't as good, I learned. And his name is Greg, and Greg said, "Right now, Mary, you and I are having a great conversation. You're leaning hunched over your computer, aren't you?" Yes, I was. And I tried to guess why his voice sounded the way it did. And I said, "Oh, you're kicked back in a big chair." And he said, "No, I'm not." So that's an example of the plus and the minus of a telephone conversation. You hear the voice get higher and lower, the changes, but you have no visual cues whatsoever. So those are some pluses and minuses of talking on the telephone. What about text? There's a whole lot of people today who love to text or email, and they're very close. However, texting brings it even more difficult, because in text I find most people forget punctuation. It's not essential in a text. And what is the problem of that? There are a lot of them. We will be talking about them in one of our other tips. So there's texting. Oh, it was 140 characters. I think now it's 280. And you think it's so fast, but maybe there's a lot left unsaid because you don't hear their tone of voice. You don't see the individual. You just see words on a very small screen, your phone. Emails. Well, emails allow you to put a whole lot more on a sheet of paper. But what are the problems with emails? Again, you don't hear them. You don't see them. You get no verbal or visual clues. And really, that's about 90% of the communication is what you see from them and what you hear from them. You just have words on a sheet of paper. It's unlimited, which is unlike a text, but you have unlimited words in an email. Emails tend to be brief. You can't explain a big subject in an email. People lose attention. So you don't want to use emails for much more than perhaps, in your negotiation, setting the meeting time. Now we come to my favorite. It's the face-to-face negotiation, and that's the best. In my opinion, if you have no pre-existing relationship with this company, with these individuals, and you don't know them, you really need to go face-to-face. In the first 7 seconds of that face-to-face meeting, you've gotten an impression of them. It's amazing how many decisions you make in the first 7 seconds. When you meet someone, you reach out, you shake their hand. That's the only time you will touch them, very likely, in your negotiation. When you greet them, when they greet you, a handshake. What do you pick up in face-to-face? The smiles, the frowns, the worry lines. You hear when they get extra excited. Their voices change and they go up and they go down. You pick up so many clues, especially if it's a rocky relationship or a new relationship. Face-to-face is the way to do it. And then, of course, there's always in writing, which is the final step in the heard process. There has to be the written word to make a deal. Too many people think when we shake their hand, the deal is done. I have found in many negotiations it's surprising how much is misunderstood, and you don't find out the miscommunication that's occurred until you see the written word and the summary on paper. You say, I never agreed to do that. That's what they thought they heard you say. That's all of the tip today on which way you conduct your communication. Remember, if you don't ask, you don't get.